We're here behind the scenes of Narco Sub with actor Klitus. Chloe, tell us about your acting experience.
Well, I started acting in middle school. I was very into like one-act plays, and I was in theater class a lot, and so Sean reached out to me over a photo that Brian Anderson took of me, because I originally grew up being a dancer. So Brian Anderson took a photo of me and gave it to Sean. And Sean was like, I guess I'll use her. So I've been in a lot of previous films for him. And like each time I feel like I've grown and gotten better in acting through that. Because like Sean has helped like talk about things. And Presley Tucker, she's also in a lot of films too. And she's also helped me like grow as an actor as well.
Nice. What character do you play?
I play Mia Stanfield. And she's the senator's daughter, and she's one of the people that gets taken and then saved. But
okay, tell us about her.
I think she's like very like free spirited, like very careless. Like she's not really worried about the dangers of the world. Like she just does whatever with her friend, and like her and her friend are like side by side. They're like very like carefree, just do whatever, go with the flow type people.
What was the most challenging part about playing her?
Well, there's a scene where we're at a bar and I'm supposed to be flirtatious and drunk. And I'm very bad at being flirtatious, and I don't drink. Because in a previous film called The Last Astronaut, I was supposed to flirt with these people that were playing tennis, and Sean in the end was like, called up my mom and was like, she's the most masculine, like boyish, flirty person like ever. It was horrible. Like, and he kept like scolding at me the whole time. Like in the end, like that whole scene was just silent. Cause, oh my gosh, it was a lot more of like theatrics and like showing like what is going on, so it could move into the next scene rather than like me talking to like, there was nobody there in the first place. So in this film, having to like embody somebody who's like flirtatious and drunk, like I was like, I don't know how to be drunk. And Jen Barbado was like, oh, you gotta talk like this and do things like this. And I was like, oh.
What did you do to get into character?
To get into character, in the first scene where we're taken back, well, the first thing that we shot, whenever we were taken back to the ranch, and we're taken and we've been kidnapped and we're like scared for our lives, like we don't know what's going on. I really had to think of something that would make me seem like I was miserable or seem that I was very upset or in like a bad state of mind. And like I feel like also a way that I did that, I like fed off of my friend Haley, her energy, like stuff that was going on, because she was like, well, I'm just thinking about like something that's really sad, and she was like relating it back to something that in her like life that's like making her upset. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and like I'm very bad, like I hate crying in front of people, real or fake, but like seeing her like having to cry, I'm like, okay, it's normal, like it's fine, like we're just acting, it's okay. So like I was crying there, like I just got into like a really sad mindset, and I was like, I gotta portray the people that I'm really upset and like I'm scared and like I don't know what's going on. And then at the other scene that we shot, back at the bar scene, I just took like the tips from everybody, from Jen, and she's like, well, this is how it's like to be drunk. And then like I try to learn from my mistakes about flirting. So I feel like I just had to, I don't know, be who like Maya/Mia really is. She's like a carefree, like easygoing person. So I had to like get into like her ways of things.
What was your favorite scene in the film?
My favorite scene in the film was even though people would be like, oh, probably the bar scene, because I did get a lot of like free, I love Coke, I love it so much. I had a lot of free Coke, just like, because I'm just drinking it and like, as each take that we do. But my favorite scene was back at the ranch whenever Haley and I were taken, and we're sitting in that room, and then Robert Lusardo just throws us into the car, the back of the seat. And like, which I know a lot of people will be like, well, what about the helicopter scene? Like, you got to ride in a helicopter, which I thought was so much cool. Like, riding with Tom in a helicopter, like, that was wicked. Like, I loved that. But my favorite literally was just being thrown into the car, because like we had to like do like all this struggling, and like Jim was like, like, get it together, like, come on. And like, as we're like falling on the floor, like saying, no, like, we don't want this. And then like Robert and him like throw us into the car. And then Robert sits on my lap and I'm like, this is crazy. Robert started sitting on my lap. It's so like crazy. And then he's like kissing Haley right next to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad he chose to kiss her and not me, because I wouldn't know what to do. Like, so like they're kissing, and like, but I also feel like that helped me get into more of a character, because I was like very like, you can tell like I was uncomfortable with what was going on. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes to shoot.
Nice. How would you describe this story? Like, what does it mean to you?
This story is described as a man who becomes a criminal to save his family, which I feel like very much does embody like what this film is and what it's about. But I also know that Derek wanted to take an important topic and build a film around it. And so the topic that we're talking about is like sex trafficking. And although like there's all this other stuff, like the CIA is involved, and like there's like not the mafia, but like the bad guys are also involved, and like they're taking people and like doing bad things. So I feel like even though like there's so much like extra stuff that will get people interested in, the sole focus of it is sex trafficking. And I feel like Tom, who's the hero of it, he's seen it happen with his family, and he's watching it happen with other families. And so he's the person that's taking action and doing something to like help the people who are being the victims, basically, that are being targeted for sex trafficking. And I feel like this story or this movie is a message that you don't just have to be like a bystander. Like, you don't have to be on the outside. Like, you can always do something to better the cause of like basically saving people's lives. So I feel like that's what this film is about.
That's good. Where can fans find you?
Well, I am always in the Houston area, always. But on social media, I'm on Instagram with Chloe Klitus, and then same on Facebook. But I'd never go on Facebook. Only got to play Scrabble with my mom or Words with Friends.
Nice.
So.
And will you be attending any film festivals?
I will. I always try my best to go to the film festivals. They're a lot of fun. Like, you have good heart-to-heart with people, and like you can really get to know. There's so many people from all over the world that comes to those film festivals. But I also do films with. Like, in the past, I've always like gone to the film festivals to perform, because I came up as a dancer. So Sean has us perform at the beginning of the thing, and there's also other people that perform as well, but especially at World Fest, like the big award ceremony. I also love like doing the red carpets and like standing there and like people coming to take photos and like talking to us, and like I feel like that is so, it just makes me feel like so like not me. Like, that's so not me. So like being able to go and do that things is like something interesting, something new. So I always try my best to like be there to support Sean, and like be there to like meet new people and like talk to them about the film, so they can be like, oh, Sean, like. So yeah.
That's awesome.